Good morning.
It is so good to have you back with us.
So after King T'Chaka died in Civil War, the throne was open in Wakanda. So here's the story of T'Challa and Black Panther.
The protector of Wakanda.
This is going to be fun.
So do you remember how superheroes aren't supposed to go out without UN approval?
Well, yeah.
Well, T'Challa goes to another country and fights a caravan of human traffickers just so he can get a date to his coronation.
He's got some new samples in.
I will take her now or later.
Very nice.
This girl he likes was undercover to save some women. So when Black Panther beats them all up and frees the women, she's like, dude, you ruined my mission. And he's like, my daddy died.
Come home, Nakia.
And she's like, oh, well that's fine then. And then his bodyguard Okoye threatens the women so he doesn't get in trouble with the UN.
That's mean.
Well, Okoye is a Dora Milaje, and they're badass warrior women that protect the royal family, and she takes this job very seriously.
When she wants to.
Do we just leave him? He'll catch up.
They then go back to Wakanda, a country that the rest of the world thinks is dirt poor,
though it remains one of the poorest countries in the world.
but is actually so technologically advanced, it's ridiculous.
It's all a front.
I don't follow what comes out of Wakanda.
The strongest metal on Earth.
And these people use the metal to make some crazy ass stuff like,
The entire suit sits within the teeth of the necklace. I made them completely sound absorbent.
A handheld sonic cannon powerful enough to stop a tank.
and they were able to civilize themselves way before anyone else, so they have a super advanced society while the rest of Africa was going through some pretty serious shit.
An oversimplification, but yes.
They also choose to isolate themselves from the rest of the world because they see everybody else as uncivilized and think they live in chaos.
So primitive.
We then go to the ceremony, where any tribal leader or member of the royal family can fight to the death to become the new king.
So after the king dies, he wants his kids to fight to the death?
Well, let's say your dad was king. Instead of the crown automatically going to you like in England, I could challenge you in front of a stadium full of people and murder you if I wanted it bad enough. And all 5 tribes are cool with this.
So it was less a murder than a defeat.
So at the ceremony, T'Challa's Black Panther power is taken from him, and they ask if anyone wants to fight him. It seems that all the tribes are cool with T'Challa being the king, except the Jabari, who never adopted any technology and keep up with the tribal way of life. So basically they're African Amish.
The savages. We are vegetarians.
But their leader M'Baku wants to fight to be king because T'Challa couldn't keep his father safe from a bomb. And everyone's like, why the hell are the Amish guys here?
What are you doing here?
Even though they have as much right to challenge as the other tribes. M'Baku's also mad that they let Shuri in charge of their tech that they don't use.
As your technological advancements have been overseen by a child who scoffs at tradition.
So they fight for a bit, and T'Challa gets stabbed, but then he gets M'Baku in a leg lock, and then has to convince M'Baku not to let him kill him.
I bet you could. But no.
Despite never seeing an episode of Monday Night Raw, M'Baku still knows how to tap out. And even though T'Challa has been stabbed, he still celebrates before seeking medical attention.
Yes, of course. Victory should be honored with revels.
They then heal him with some purple tea that's from the heart-shaped herb that they have a whole garden of for some reason. And then have some children bury him alive so he can hallucinate.
What's in that tea?
This vibranium meteorite crashed in Africa, and this changed all the plants, including this heart-shaped herb, that millions of years later, this dude randomly eats and gets super strong. So basically, it's an herbal steroid that lasts you the rest of your life.
That's what made T'Challa so strong.
So the people of Wakanda made him the first Black Panther and king, because they knew this roided up dude would kill them in a fight.
You are the greatest warrior Wakanda has.
He then dreams about going to a field where some panthers stare at him from a tree. One of them is his dad, who doesn't give him much encouragement.
It is hard for a good man to be king.
We then go to London, where this guy Eric Stevens visits a museum, where security wants to kick him out because he gives a history lesson to a lady.
It was taken by British soldiers in Benin, but it's from Wakanda.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Nah.
But he actually poisoned the lady, and it starts to hit her right as she starts to talk to him. She falls over, and the British healthcare system must be fantastic because the paramedics show up before the security guards can get from the next room. But one of them is Ulysses' Klaue, and he shoots all of the guards. He also has a new arm from when Ultron cut it off, and it vibrates, making glass break, metal unrust, and it's probably fun on nights home alone.
Must feel good.
Bingo.
Why would he even be there? Didn't he get a lot of money from Ultron?
It's worth billions.
Now so are you.
Shut up. Maybe he just got bored during his retirement.
Right, let's have some fun.
We see that Eric's girlfriend was the one who poisoned the lady, and also did a really crappy job of looping a video.
Makes us look like amateurs.
They escape after Erik takes some vibranium and a mask so he can cosplay as a Triceratops.
It's too great an opportunity to pass.
The next day, T'Challa and Nakia talk about using Wakandan technology to provide aid to the world that's pretty messed up right now. T'Challa doesn't want to do this because it would ruin their way of life, but Nakia thinks they can balance the two.
If you are not so stubborn, you would make a great queen.
I would make a great queen because I am so stubborn.
He then goes to see his friend Wakabi, who doesn't like the idea of helping others with medicine and technology, and instead says T'Challa should send him and his men out to start wars. And these two must be really good friends, because it's not like the king can just talk to anyone about his girlfriend. But they're interrupted by Okoye, who's apparently dating or married to Wakabi.
My love.
She found out that Klaue is selling the vibranium tomorrow night, and they want to catch him. See, they've been trying to catch him for 30 plus years when he got into Wakanda and stole a bunch of vibranium. He also killed a lot of people in the process, including Wakabi's parents. He makes T'Challa promise that he will either catch or kill Klaue, and he accepts.
I will bring him back.
But I'm not sure why he thinks he would kill Klaue when he let Zemo go, who killed his own father.
I almost killed the wrong man.
Reject his request.
Well, the next day they go to South Korea, where Nakia just happens to know the person who lets people into the super secret club where Klaue's gonna be at, and gets her to let them in too. He tells Nakia and Okoye to spread out.
Spread out.
And then they all go in the same direction.
When I tell you to do something, I mean that shit.
They discover that it's the CIA that's buying the vibranium.
I don't care.
Since Klaue isn't there yet, T'Challa's cool with possibly blowing Agent Ross's cover to tell him to back off so they can get him.
You see that? It's called diplomacy.
And Ross is all like, I didn't break the rules of the Accords to stop people from knowing that you broke the Accords, even though they were your guys' idea to begin with.
Didn't I keep it under wraps that the king of a third world country runs around in a bulletproof catsuit?
When Klaue shows up, they pretty much spot Okoye immediately and a fight breaks out. T'Challa goes after Klaue, but he gets shot and money starts going everywhere.
I made it right.
You know what? I think I'll just take these.
But Klaue and his men get away.
Not that afraid.
Okoye and Nakia follow him, and Shuri hijacks a car for Black Panther to surf on.
And a sweet wave it is. 7 foot point break right, spitting like a washing machine, an awesome ride. Pretty boy, surfer.
The bad guys are shooting at them, but the ladies have a bulletproof car, and Black Panther has a suit. He's been absorbing all these bullet impacts that he can use to redistribute the force by dry humping the car to make it flip.
That's not exactly the mental picture I need to make my day better.
Aren't they endangering a lot of civilians right now?
Hey, what was that?
Don't worry about it.
Victory at the expense of the innocent is no victory at all.
Okoye doesn't like being shot at, so she climbs on the roof, where apparently they're not aiming, so she can throw a spear at them to crash the car. Klaue then uses his new arm to disassemble their car, but Okoye lands just fine thanks to her spear, and the car luckily left Nakia intact. Ross picks them up, while Black Panther gets Klaue. And he's about to kill him, but bystanders might put him on TikTok.
Delete that footage.
So they just arrest him instead.
Vengeance has consumed you. I'm done letting it consume me.
Ross goes to interrogate Klaue, but T'Challa puts a bug on him and listens to him tell Ross about Wakanda and their technology.
The savages.
While Ross goes to ask T'Challa if he's full of shit or not, Triceratops Erik breaks Klaue out and escapes with some grenades. But Ross got shot in the spine, so they shove this ball in his bullet hole.
A ball? What's that gonna do?
Oh, these balls can do it all. Stop and start cars, control electronics, and apparently fix boo-boos. They're do whatever the hell we need balls.
The most versatile substance on the planet. And they used it to make a frisbee.
But Okoye doesn't know how they can justify bringing an agent of the CIA there, because he could tell everybody their secret. But they get him back, and Shuri fixes him, while T'Challa talks to Wakabi. He expected T'Challa to bring him back, and is all like, I gave you a whole day to do what couldn't be done in 30 years. How could you fail me like this? And T'Challa stupidly doesn't explain that a dinosaur blew up the wall and took him.
I don't care. He killed my mom.
We then go to Erik and Klaue, who are getting on a plane. Erik wants to go to Wakanda, but Klaue is like, hell no, and holds his girlfriend at gunpoint. And even though he's a one-armed man, not holding on to her, Erik shoots her instead of, say, her dropping to her knees so he'll have a shot.
So this is a big mess, huh?
But now we really know he's evil because he killed a girl he kissed, but we were never properly introduced to.
Who are you?
But Klaue still gets away from him for like a minute, but Erik catches up to him and shows him he has a cyst for every person he's killed, and that he's really Wakandan.
He has a war dog tattoo, but we have no record of him.
See, back in 1992, the Prince of Wakanda went on a spy mission in Oakland, California.
What's in Oakland?
Absolutely nothing.
It's a real shithole.
But while he was there, he became radicalized by seeing people being oppressed, and he wanted to arm the oppressed and have them take over, and then have Wakanda take over them.
So he wants to take over the world?
Pretty much.
Sorry, I tried to rule Earth. They'd be lucky to have you.
But to do this, he told Klaue how to get into Wakanda to steal vibranium. And King T'Chaka found out because he sent a spy to spy on his brother spying, and when he went to stop him, he ended up killing him.
But isn't his suit bulletproof?
It is, so he could have easily taken him alive.
Hey, people are shooting at me. Wait, let me put on my helmet.
And somehow the spy that was there is the only person T'Challa asks about the family ring he saw Erik wearing for 2 seconds, half a block away. And that's where he tells T'Challa that he has an American cousin who they just left to grow up in Oakland.
I would rather die!
So Erik shows up at the Wakandan border with Klaue's body.
Hello?
And W'Kabi's like, hey, you killed the guy I wanted dead. Come on in.
I'm standing in your house.
T'Challa is trying to process why his dad would kill his brother and leave his nephew to rot in Oakland.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
And now he's questioning what kind of king he's going to be. He goes to see Shuri, who is with an all-better Ross, and he tells him about Erik. The CIA calls him Killmonger because he's killed a bunch of people and specializes in overthrowing governments. So now they suspect that's why he's there.
Ooh, wow, they're quick.
They have Erik come into the throne room to meet with the leaders of the tribes, and he flat out says he's there to take over and wants to challenge T'Challa for the throne.
I understand why you're angry and technically have a claim to the throne, but it can't be you. You're just the worst.
Now, he doesn't have to accept, but he does. And he doesn't stall or come up with the reason why they can't challenge, or at least try to say, hey, upon of a DNA test, then you can challenge. Because if he takes over, this will completely expose Wakanda.
Our weapons will not be used to wage war on the world. It is not our way.
And now we know what kind of king he is. A shitty one. I mean, what kind of king would give someone who wants to use the kingdom's resources to take over the world the opportunity to take the crown?
And it is my responsibility to make sure our people are safe and that vibranium does not fall into the hands of a person like you.
Wow, I thought you were, good at your job or something.
Well, I guess not.
And if Killmonger is so good at overthrowing governments, why wasn't he there on Challenge Day to begin with?
Would always strike at transitions of power, like an election year or the death of a monarch.
Shuri even points this out.
You should have just come to the first challenge and gotten it over with.
Meaning that he could have fought him after M'Baku, when he was stabbed, and that would have been okay.
Well, the odds fair.
So, they take away his Black Panther power again, and Killmonger pops off his shirt to show off all his murder cysts.
Check these out. Each one is for a kill.
Ugh, that was disgusting.
They fight, and Erik is cutting the crap out of T'Challa. When his head is about to be chopped off, Zuri jumps in and tells Erik to kill him instead, and he's like, alright.
I'll take you both, Uncle James!
No! T'Challa is now super upset and can't remember how to fight anymore.
There's nothing more dangerous to a warrior than emotion.
And anger only serves the enemy.
He then grabs T'Challa and chucks him over the waterfall.
I have been falling for 30 minutes!
The tribal leaders acknowledge him as their new king.
I will be reinstituting prima nocta.
And Nakia rushes the queen and Shuri out of there.
We will not leave Wakanda.
Nakia goes to Okoye to get her to help overthrow Killmonger, but she and the Dora Milaje are loyal to the throne, not to T'Challa.
What are you loyal to?
Nakia then goes back to get Ross, and they go to meet with the queen and Shuri. But then she ditches them again.
Wait here.
Killmonger is going through the Black Panther ritual, where his trip to the ancestral plane is his crappy apartment back in Oakland, and seeing how he learned about Wakanda.
What's the matter? You don't like my house? My house stink? That's right, it stinks!
And also that his dad tattooed him as a 6-year-old.
I would be a terrible dad.
When his trip is over, he orders everyone to burn the rest of the heart-shaped herbs, without even knowing if he needs to, take more at some point. I mean, they have a cave filled with them, and only one person consumes them at a time. Stands to reason you might need it again, or at least keep some around if he has a kid. But we've seen how he treats his women, so maybe it's better he doesn't have kids.
You ain't the son of a king, you a son of a murderer!
But Nakia is able to grab one before they all go up in flames. She plans on giving it to M'Baku, but the queen thinks she should take it instead.
You should take it yourself.
I am a spy with no army.
The next day, Killmonger tells the council that he wants to send out vibranium weapons to all their spies around the world.
So they can finally rise up and kill those in power, and their children, and anyone else who takes their side.
Okoye looks at Wakabi like, can you believe this psycho? But he's all like, I can't wait to kill a bunch of kids. She points out that Wakanda works because they don't get involved in unnecessary wars. But Wakabi contradicts her, like the little turd that he is, and says, that was the past, let's go kill some kids. And she shoots him a look like, you are definitely not getting any tonight.
Get any what?
Brownies. She made brownies for dessert.
That was so sugar-coated, gave me diabetes.
But don't they fight with spears and stuff?
Yes, but also no, because the spears kind of shoot lasers.
A handheld sonic cannon, powerful enough to stop a tank.
But they would probably only have just a little bit more than what they need for their army right now. To do what he wants to do, they would need months, if not years, to mass produce that much. Plus, I doubt they have a good distribution system in place.
Oh, well, I tried to start a revolution but didn't print enough pamphlets, so hardly anyone turned up, except for my mum and her boyfriend, who I hate.
Anyway, the queen and the rest go to the Jabari to give M'Baku the herb so he can kill Killmonger. He's flattered, but he's like, actually, we found T'Challa in the river.
Barely clinging to life.
They take them to him, and he's in a coma, and most likely has frostbite by now.
Did he freeze?
I never freeze.
They give him the herb, and he's all better after yelling at his dad.
You are wrong!
They make a plan to go back to the city and take the throne, but M'Baku absolutely insists that he and his men won't help.
So they're gonna help him?
Apparently not. Even though he was super upset about people not respecting tradition, he suddenly doesn't care that someone who wants to change everything is in charge now.
We will not help you.
Killmonger and Wakabi oversee the loading of the weapons on the planes to go to their spies.
The revolution has begun!
One takes off, but gets taken down right away.
What a piece of junk!
Black Panther comes out of the wreckage and says the challenge isn't over. But Killmonger's like, nah. He orders the border guards to keep sending out the planes.
This is it!
And then he tells Wakabi to kill T'Challa. But Okoye's like, hey, the challenge isn't done, so Erik isn't the king. So all this little douche needs to do is step back and let them settle this. But no, he sends his men, who, mind you, are supposed to be guarding the border, to murder T'Challa because he's still butthurt that T'Challa didn't murder Klaue on Instagram.
It's not about you.
And the border guards all go after T'Challa. Wakabi even calls his war rhinos, who were already in their armor to fight.
I want to break something.
So the Dora Milaje fight with T'Challa because Killmonger won't finish the challenge.
All that challenge shit is over with. I'm the king now.
They start fighting Killmonger, who's wearing a very cheap jacket.
Well, maybe you should make it a little stronger.
It takes 4 of them to try to take off his necklace, while the rest of them try to help T'Challa. They're about to get it off when he blasts them off the building. And then we realize the queen was right, and Nakia should have taken the herb, because she is kicking the shit out of him. In fact, if she would have had some better armor, she probably could have taken him down.
Next time, baby.
Shuri has Ross remote fly a plane, since he said he was a pilot. He starts shooting down the other planes while everyone fights below. The 2 Black Panthers find each other and start fighting on the train tracks. The stabilizers make the vibranium not work, so they're temporarily exposed when the train passes.
You won't have protection!
Neither will he.
The border guys have the Dora Milaje surrounded.
Surrender now! You have 3 seconds to lay down your weapon.
But the Jabari, who swore they weren't coming, show up to save them. Ross takes out all the ships trying to leave and gets out himself before he's killed by a ship outside his window.
Evacuate? In our moment of triumph?
Wakabi tries to run over M'Baku with a war rhino, but Okoye gets in front of it, so it stops. It doesn't want to hurt its mommy. She tells him to surrender, and he's like,
Would you kill me, my love?
He tried to run her over with a rhino.
he tried to run over M'Baku, she just got in the way.
So she had to make a decision because he attacked T'Challa. Then he threatened to kill her if she didn't give up. And then he almost ran her over. But now that she has the upper hand, he's all like,
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Pretty much. But she threatens to kill him, and he's like, well, if you really feel this strong about it, then I guess I'll give up. And then all his men, who apparently stopped fighting to watch them, give up too. And what's really funny is that his parents were killed because Killmonger's dad was giving Klaue directions, and they died trying to prevent the very thing their son was just trying to accomplish.
Aw, Junior, you're gonna break your old man's heart.
Not a day goes by when I do not think about what Klaue took from us.
Back underground, the two kitties duke it out and try to cut each other while their suits are off. After the train passes, T'Challa stabs Erik in the chest before his suit comes back on.
Hell of a move.
They then have a let's act like we weren't just trying to kill each other a second ago conversation about sunsets.
It's gonna be a lot of manful tears.
T'Challa carries him to a cliff to watch one, where he offers to heal him. But after almost causing a war, he thinks it's easier to just die. And then he pulls the spear out of his chest and dies.
Hey, you won.
So since everyone wanted Wakanda to start helping other countries, they decided to do it in a positive way, starting in Oakland. And their first order of business is randomly having a spaceship show up in a shitty neighborhood.
You're kidding. Why here?
To be honest, I expected more.
Hey, look, we can break it apart, we can sell it.
On eBay.
Wakanda forever! Wakanda forever!
Thank you.
You subscribed and liked this video.
There's nothing to thank me for. It is our duty to...
Please, don't make me listen to your music.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Are you finished?
Leave us.